as you know, we're doing a study exploring attitudes towards Afro-Caribbean beliefs. And just before the class, I was thinking about, I said, well, I need to tell the class make a very important point. Because some of you might ask, or probably none of you is asking the question, but the question may arise somewhere or somehow. You may ask, well, as it relates to the course Caribbean Thought and what we are contending for this semester, because I've taught this class several times. And every single time I teach the class, my approach is always a little bit different. If you were to look at what gives last semester or the semester before that, some of the topics I cover in those semesters is different. Here, I mean, this particular semester, I believe I'm honing in on Haiti, because Haiti as a case study when studying the Caribbean. Say, for example, the book that I wrote, Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, Poverty and Resistance, which was reviewed as an erudite analysis of Jamaica's economic history. But I say to people, to the reviewers got it a bit wrong, because first of all, it's two books in one. The first part is really an economic analysis, looking at the global South as against the global North. And of course, when we talk about the global South and the global North, by now you should know what we're talking about. Post-industrial countries. When we talk about the global North, and in terms of the global South, we're talking about developing countries, emerging economies, including countries in the Caribbean. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the global South. Formerly, it was called Third World, but we're moving language, as I said, is very important. So we're moving beyond that. But the book, Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, so looks at the dynamics that are at play between the global South and the global North. We talk about income inequality and poverty, which is we talk about the position of the Caribbean in the book, Neoliberalism, the position of the Caribbean, the economic position. But it started with an hypothesis. If globalization is supposed to be the sine qua non, the ideal of economic development, because it was once taught by many economists, W. Rothschild and many others, who believe that economies follow a particular path. For some, it's linear. Whatever the case is, there are stages towards development. And so if there are stages towards development, the progressive idea as you get to the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, was globalization. And especially in the late 80s and 90s, we talk about multinationals and transnationals and the large corporation, and especially extending from post-industrial countries, penetrating into global South market, which has also, created, which results in high levels of income inequality and poverty. So the book, one of the most interesting thing about my book, or the book that I wrote, which was a study that was conducted at the University of Pennsylvania, part of my thesis, was not just to look at the strategies that have created the position in the Caribbean. And I say to you, we talk about this, the reviewers say it's an erudite analysis of Jamaica's economic history, but Jamaica is a case study. Jamaica offers a case study of what is happening in the Caribbean, and we won't have time to delve into it this week, but next week, we're coming to the end of the semester, but next week I'll have you watch Life and Death,